Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of our TESCH Talks. We're in the beautiful Northwestern Mutual building here in downtown Milwaukee. Our guest today is Tim Tesch. I want to thank you for joining us. He is a financial analyst for Northwestern Mutual, and I came across him on Twitter. He posts a lot of cool things about, look at all the awesome stuff that Wisconsin companies are doing and how it's growing. And so I thought he'd be a really cool person to talk to and get some insights from. And oddly enough, he's not even related to Will Tesch.
At least to 1900, we've looked.
Exactly. So I thought that was even cooler to include that too. So I just want to ask you to kick it off. Just tell us your story and how you came into this whole tech ecosystem.
So I've had a front row seat because Northwestern Mutual has been very involved, and we have a tech advancement team with James Hitchkey and his team. This is my side hustle. I'm kind of like just doing this on my own, giving back to the city. Interested in startups. It's kind of an exciting thing. My brother-in-law does drug research, and we're part of that in California. And my son worked for a startup with UWM for a couple of years. So that's kind of been another, just the rise and fall and ups and downs and all the things you don't always think about. So it's been a fun ride.
That's awesome. So what advice would you give, young tech entrepreneurs looking to get started and get off the ground and be successful? What type of resources and things are available that they should be looking at?
Kind of what I've seen is it is not a science experiment. You can go on and on and on. You love to do this. If I add these extra features, at some point, monetize it.
Right.
And one way I would say doing that is kind of like, what do you want to do with your business? Do you want to sell it and go on to something else? Do you want more capital and still be in charge? Because what happens is you need to kind of have your game plan. So if you want to still run your company but need people to involved, then you don't want to sell it. So the people who call and say, hey, we'll buy this, you just say no.
Right.
But the one that comes along and said, hey, we want to make an investment, you go, this is what I've been looking for. So
right, exactly. We always say at TESCH Global, it's important to just get to a minimal viable product,
yes,
and get it out there and show people what it's all about, versus doing so much versioning. And that's important over time, and doing those sprints and things. But yeah, that's super good advice. What have you seen? Wisconsin is kind of emerging, if you will, especially Milwaukee, Madison, Green Bay, all these areas that are trying to build these tech hubs. What have you seen that's been like a trend within this state?
Well, it's been kind of amazing because we've done a shoestring. I mean, a lot of what's going on in the Milwaukee startup community has been meetups, which is kind of like amazing, to tell you the truth. So Northwestern Mutual and also Advocate Aurora with Mike Rogers, they've been really out trying to develop, just an ecosystem to involve the corporations into what is the startup community. And we thought at first, they were kind of thinking, let's make Milwaukee a tech hub. And it's like we were aspiring to be one. Actually, we are one, but we have aspirations.
Yeah, exactly. It's just more commonly heard of now than before.
So in the last 3 years, things have come really a long way. I think one thing for us was there was a study commissioned right out of the box. And we found out that there are like 71,000 tech workers in the greater metropolitan area. And that was probably a little lower than we thought, but we saw what they project for the next 5 years and found that to be 31,000. That's like every graduate in the state.
Yeah, no kidding. I know that's a big push to try to keep talent here versus letting them go off somewhere else.
Exactly. So. And the thing is, we aren't the only ones hurting. I mean, everybody needs tech workers. So it's just the demand is there worldwide.
Yeah, that's great. So there are areas like Silicon Valley. And what is the Midwest doing to kind of compete from that perspective and stand out from
It's
them?
really hard to compete, Jennifer, because one of the things is you can't take 12 schlocky slides, 20-minute presentation, walk out with $4 million in the Midwest, right?
Right.
It's not going to happen. I think what's really helped Steve Case, who founded American Online or was one of the first executives and later Time Warner, he really saw there is talent in the Midwest. He's pulled things together. He calls it Rise of the Rest. He rides his red bus around and does pitches in different cities and invests himself, but pretty well brings others with him to do that. I think Milwaukee's not the only one with an emphasis on creating a startup. There's more collaborative, like coalitions. The outstanding star at the moment is Cincinnati. They have Startup Cincy, and they're just doing a phenomenal job.
Cool, I've not heard of that.
So they're kind of paving the way a little bit.
That's so great. So if individuals want to learn more and just kind of a central place where they can go to learn about these different initiatives and things going on, where can they go? Is there a site?
I'm glad you asked.
Okay, good.
So there's mketech.org. And that's just the broader community. Has a lot about Startup Week, has a lot of different articles that are going on. The corporations are involved with it, but it is startup as well. And then Northwestern Mutual, if you go to innovation.northwesternmutual.com, we also have quite a number of things out there, particularly initiatives we're involved with, but also with the broader community. And both are really in-depth. They've come a long way as well.
Great, awesome. I have one final question for you. What event are you going to be going to coming up that you think people should be going to?
Thank you. So Jennifer, you probably heard of the Fall Experiment.
I have.
So that's coming up, and October 4th and 5th at the Milwaukee Center. So last year we did in the Peck Pavilion of UWM, which is a former warehouse just off of North Avenue near the Oriental Theater. I'm sure many people are familiar with that. So this year, big leap to downtown Milwaukee at the Wisconsin Center, 2 full days. Registration's open the fall. Just say fallexperiment.com and you get all the details.
I'll definitely be there, so I'm sure I'll see you.
Yes.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for your time today and sharing all this really cool stuff that you're aware of.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.